Bonjour. Hello. Welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 5 of our full walkthrough of the game. Last time, we went through the open world parts of Liurnia. All of that. This time, we are going to be going through the Strewn Precipice, Caria Manor, and the Academy of Raya Lucaria, as those are the 3 main dungeons of the game. Here, I'm going to be resting until morning. This has no gameplay effect at all. It's purely to make the game a bit brighter so it's easier to see. With that being said, we are going to head into the first location by heading up these ladders. If you're new to this series and just skip so you can see what's going on in here, the way that I am doing this run is that I'm not going to get every single thing. I'm not going to fight every single boss, kill every single enemy, get every single item. I'm just going to be hitting everything that's notable, so that way new players can know where to go and what to do, and intermediate and even some veteran players can have at least an idea on how to better route through the game. Just in case you haven't figured out a consistent path. Now, in case you couldn't tell by the smithing stone and the stone miner enemies, this is very similar to a tunnel. However, it's a bit unique. Now here, there are these little spiky balls on the ground. If you touch them, they explode into poisonous gas, fumes, whatever you want to call them. So watch out for those. With that being said, we can head up this elevator. And you should notice an item. You can drop down and grab that, as it is a smithing stone 5. You can then safely take a few platforms down to where the elevator was, and by the time you get to the lever, the elevator should have stopped, meaning you can then pull the lever to bring it back down. Continuing on, there are some of these stone enemies again. And the ones mining a wall are usually after some kind of item. But here, got a pickaxe, but I'm going to discard it, as I want this run to have as little RNG, as little luck, and as little grinding as possible, just to make it as consistent as possible. So that being said, I'm going to be ignoring all of the random drop items, only focusing on what you can get guaranteed every single time. So there's absolutely no reason not to pick items up. So if an enemy drops something, pick it up. It will make things easier for you. Here, we get a rune arc, and down here, we can get a somber smithing stone 4. Then, going to the west, through this little opening, this thing explodes, so be careful. Destroying that gets us another somber stone 4. Here we get the pop-up for Strewn Precipice, along with a Sled of Grace. And this is where you can see what makes Strewn Precipice unique compared to other tunnels. The main thing is that you have this beautiful vista along with new enemies that aren't really in other tunnels. From there, you can drop down onto here to quickly get a Somberstone 4. And this is where we move away from the stone miner enemies and more into wild animals for the rest of the precipice. Mostly bats. So climbing up that ladder and taking a right. There's a handful of these bat enemies. Pretty easy to kill, especially if you have a ranged option. And doing so allows you to safely pick up a Golden Rune 4, and then you can hop up here, where you can get a Somberstone 3. Heading back down and past this ladder, you can get another normal Smithing Stone 4. And then heading up this ladder, you want to stick to the right side, because this is where all of the items are. Mostly more Smithing Stone 4s, but that's one of the main reasons we're here. We'll get to the other reason a bit later. For now, this albino bat, I suppose you can call it, they have a lot more health and can throw poison at you, but they do give you a guaranteed Golden Rune 6 as compensation. Now, those bats can't fly up, so you can just ignore them. And off here to the side, not super important, but you can get a Golden Rune 5. And then continuing on top of bats, there are also these land octopus enemies. The small ones are basically just cannon fodder. Super easy to kill, not at all dangerous. The big ones are a bit more threatening, but there is an easy way to deal with them. First, head up that ladder, and then take a right to head up this other ladder. Across this bridge, you will find a Smithing Stone 4 and some more of these enemies. Now, as I said, the big ones, they're a bit more dangerous, or a bit scarier, especially this move, where they just absolutely freak out. There's not a whole lot you can do about this besides try to get away, but once they're done with that move, and they're done flailing around, we basically run out of steam. So just do 1 to 2 charged attacks, stance break them, wait a second, and then do another 1 to 2 charged heavies, and you can stance break them again. And you can just do an endless loop of this. Like, once you stance break them, you can stop to get your stamina back, and then while waiting, after getting the critical hit, you can get your stamina back again. So this really is an endless loop. After the first big attack, they really run out of steam. But here you can get the Serpent God's Curb Sword. This is a curved sword that restores HP when an enemy dies. If you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is a Ring of the Evil Eye, but as a weapon. and it does stack with other forms of health regen. That being said, we can head back the way we came to this little combat section. It's good to get rid of these things if you can, just so they don't hit you and stun you as you're taking out the big threats. But from here, you can grab a Smithing Stone 3. You can head behind where these two bats are to grab a Lost Ash of War in order to duplicate any Ash of War you currently have, along with a Rune Arc. If you don't really care for this stuff, or if you're willing to play a bit more dangerously, you can just run around them and then take the elevator up, because they can't follow you up. Here, you can get a Sight of Grace, so you can get your health back, your FP, all of your flasks, gets rid of poison, de-aggroes all the enemies, and from there, there's a boss. Now you can get up to 3 summons here. If you follow the way that I did it, there will be 2 here. You can summon them if you want. Personally, I'm not a big fan of summoning, so I'm just going to head in alone. But this boss can be dangerous. So, if you're not confident in your combat abilities, maybe grab a summon to help you out. For this boss, they like to charge at the beginning, so beware of that. And beware of the puddles of lava as they damage you and stun you. But once you kill them, you will be rewarded with 24,000 runes, Magma Worm's Scale Sword, and a Dragon Heart. The Dragon Heart can be brought to the Church of Dragon Communion in order to get Dragon Cult Incantation. They're strong, but they're very costly. And then the Scale Sword is just a curved greatsword. Beating them gets you access to this elevator, which brings you to the Altus Plateau region. This is the second reason to come here. So, upgrade materials, and to get to Altus Plateau. But that's for another time. For now, we are going to be heading to Caria Manor. Now there's 2 ways to go about here. The first way is to head immediately to the right, where you can get a few rhymed crystal buds. Then you can head up these stairs and into this doorway, where you can get yourself a cookbook that allows you to craft freezing pots. From there, head out, take another right, and there's going to be a few enemies here that can just do an occasional glintstone pebble. Now throughout Caria Manor, there are these little swords stuck in the ground. They're a very pitiful trap, just completely ignore them and you'll be fine. There, you can get a Somber Stone 3, then you can head out around here, where there will be a little ledge with another one of these traps. And looking down, you'll see one of these giant hands. You can use range to take them out, or if you hit them with fire, they freak out. Either way, you can kill them, hopefully without too much issue. You can also use a shield and guard counter, that also works. But here, There's a scarab, and destroying that gets you the Caria Piercer sorcery. If you see these nails in the ground, watch out as they will pop up and grab you. So beware of that. But continuing to head forward, you will find this main path. Just head that way, a bit to the left after going through the doorway, and you'll get to the next site of grace. If you don't care for the ability to craft freezing pots and Caria Piercer, you can take this alternative way, which is to head straight forward along this main path. Here you'll get a few smithing stone 2s, and there will be these enemies that aggro onto you. Just completely ignore them, you will be fine. This is where we stopped before we teleported back. So whichever path you take, you can just run through that doorway, head a little to the left, and you should see some stairs in a doorway. Just keep running, you'll be perfectly fine. Up these stairs, if you take a U-turn to the left, you'll be able to get a smithing stone 4. And here, as you can see, we have plenty. We can grab this side of grace. And you could do it before, you can do it now, but heading over to EG, you can upgrade your weapons. Now, I did a little miscalculation there because there is another smithing stone 4 later on in Caria Manor, and I was thinking that I had that. So, could have gotten 2 upgrades if I just waited a bit longer. But anyways, moving forwards, you'll find these enemies that just spawn in out of nowhere. So don't rush too much, but upon killing these guys, you can take a left down this little side path. Heading this way allows you to get a rune arc. And then it's a dead end, so you turn around, and to the right there should be a building. You can do a running jump to safely make it onto here. And then there's a second rooftop you can hop onto. Then you can fall down this hole, where you can get yourself the Sword of Night and Flame. This is a straight sword that scales with intelligence and faith, and it has a unique, powerful skill. So, this was a once popular weapon, but you can grab that and then head back to the Manor lower level set of grace. And from there, you can just make your way back to where you were before, killing the enemies that spawn in. If you want to, you can just run straight forward and get past all of the enemies, as they can't really chase you too far. But they're pretty easy to kill and give you like 100 runes each, so leveling is important. Moving on, when an enemy spawns far away, turn around as one spawns behind you. From here, you'll get to these stairs and an elevator. You want to take those up, as just beyond this elevator is the next site of grace. Light that, and you can turn around to head back the way you came. Don't forget to occasionally level up, as that is important. But heading back down, at the bottom of these stairs, the first pillar to the left, you can do a running jump past that to make it to here. Rimed crystal buds are used in crafting frost-based things, like freezing grease and freezing pots. From there, you can keep on moving. You can fight these little hand things. Just beyond them is the Arumi, a whip with a unique heavy attack. So you can grab that if you want, and then make your way over to this enemy. You don't have to kill it, you can just run past it, but it will stay aggroed onto you for a bit, making it difficult to teleport away. Once you bring it down, then you can safely pick up this Somber Stone 3 and then teleport back. If you don't care for the Somber Stone 3, you can save some time just ignoring that completely. But teleporting back, you can head straight forward and over to this tree where you'll get yourself another golden seed. From there, turn right, looking northeast where you should see these stairs. Head up them and take a left where you'll see this giant troll. Take another left and jump over here, as that allows you to avoid both the troll and gets the wolf off your back. And from there you can just ignore the wolf. It will de-aggro. Heading over here, you can go up these stairs, and I would suggest taking a bit of a stealthier approach here, because there are some enemies that can aggro onto you if you jog or run around. Here, when you get to the stairs that go up and down, just do a little loop around the stairs that go down, make it onto this pillar or walkway, and you can sneak along here, where you can take this drop and then get this Smithing Stone 4. From here you can upgrade your melee weapon again, or a second weapon again rather. This is where we took the jump to avoid the troll and the wolf, so we can take the path that we took again. So this time, instead of heading right, we're going to head left up the stairs. Now, there are two different stairways you can take that both go up. I'd suggest taking the right one, as there's only one page enemy there instead of two. Now, you can kill them or run past. Either way, you can get to the Royal Knight Loretta. Now, she tends to dodge magic, so Impaling Thrust, once again, is our absolute workhorse. And as long as you know how to dodge, it becomes a pretty easy fight. Taking her down, you will get 10,000 runes, Loretta's Great Bow, and the Ash of War, Loretta's Slash. The Loretta's Great Bow, it's a sorcery that requires 26 intelligence, but acts as an incredible sniper shot. So if you're using sorceries, I would highly suggest using that when you can. But from here, we can head east through this doorway. This is the way we came, but now with that Site of Grace as a checkpoint, we can turn to the right and head through this little doorway. From there, we can take a few jumps down. And make it to this giant jar enemy. There are also a lot of small jars that are around and will aggro onto you, so make sure to take care of them. From there, you can grab this cracked pot and continue making your way generally down in elevation. Something I've stated before in the series, but in case you have missed it or forgot, in this series, or in this run rather, you want to get basically everything that would be useful for every kind of build. So you can do this, and no matter what build you're creating, you will get everything that you need in order to make it good. Though because of that, there are certain things that you can skip just to make the game go by a little faster. Just because not everything is going to fit into every build. With that being said, here we can pick up a Smithing Stone 3, and then heading a little further down in elevation, we can get to our final stop here, where we can get the Ash of War, Caria Grandeur. Having gotten that, we can teleport back to the Royal Moon-Gazing Ground. And teleporting to this Site of Grace, it automatically starts you facing in the correct direction, so you can head through this doorway to the Three Sisters. Our goal is this structure right here, so you can pin that to make it easier to tell where to go. But just generally west, maybe slightly left of that. Here, there's a Scarab, and destroying that gets you the Ash of War Chilling Mist. This is a skill you can put on your weapon that just applies frost to it. So basically the consumable item of freezing grease, but as a weapon art. But here, this structure is Ronnie's Rise. This is very important for a major side quest. Though, we're not going to be doing it this time. We're going to get the Site of Grace, but we're going to be talking to her and doing that little piece of the side quest in the next part. For now, you can cash in that Smithing Stone 4 you got for another upgrade. And now you can head to the main Academy gate, where we will be heading into the Academy of Raya Lucaria, the third and biggest area that we will be doing this part, as it is the main legacy dungeon in Liurnia. If you go that way and that way, there are a few things, but we got those the last time while heading through the open world of Liurnia. Mostly because they're easy to get, they're useful, and they're not really part of the proper academy. As you can see, you don't get the pop-up until now. But we can just head straight forward, where we will have 2 of these enemies. So this is strangely easy on a magic build, considering the academy is supposed to be particularly difficult for sorcery users. But opening this door, you can take a right where there will be an illusory wall, hiding a rune arc. Heading back into this room, just stick to the right wall, as there are some enemies here. And you can use these pillars as like a shield. Just protect yourself from their spell spam. And following the right wall even more, you can get a golden rune 2, along with a somber stone 3. From there, heading through this door, there is a Site of Grace to the left, if you care for that. But from here, you can head down the hallway, take a left, and then you can take a right. You may have to look around a little bit, but there is a drop that you can take that grants you a Smithing Stone 4. From there, you can follow the pathway back, take a left, take a right, and you should see this bridge. Near the end of the bridge, jump off to the left to land down here, and that allows you to make your way over to these 2 enemies, as they have bows and will shoot you if you ignore them. There's also a dog down there, so beware of that. But having killed them, you can drop down. And this section is mostly made of dogs and these enemies. They're very slow, but they have high health, they're resistant to magic, and they're mostly about grab attacks. So beware of them, especially if you're a magic user. Getting grabbed by them not only takes health, but FP as well. So beware of them. But you can continue moving on here, and there's this guy to the left Once you see him move, stop, as there will be some dogs that come out of hiding here, and it's supposed to act like a trap. But upon killing the 2 dogs that immediately run at you, you can then move on to attack this guy. After you kill him, you should be safe to turn around and move past this torch, where you can take a drop down, and that will get you the Caria Knight armor set. From there, you can make your way up where there's a golden rune and a way to get back to where you were before dropping down. Do be careful, as there's a lot more than just 2 dogs. And there's even more of these putrid corpses, as they are called. So, there's this main door here. If you just want to make it to the end, you can run through there and ignore everything. But, as I've said before, this walkthrough is about getting everything that is notable. From here, we can head down this little side path where there's a scarab. Destroying this gets you the Ash of War Spectral Lance. This is a good skill to give you a bit of range if you're using poke weapons. From there, moving on. That is everything notable, so we can now head through this doorway. If you want, you can take that elevator up to progress through the area, or you can accept the challenge of the Stone Man. He has a great sword and some gravity sorceries, but if you can manage to kill him, you will be rewarded, as you can get the Gravity Well sorcery, which fires a projectile that pulls enemies toward you, along with a Somberstone 3. From there, we can hop onto this giant lift and make our way up. Looking south, you can jump onto this platform and head into here to get the next site of grace. From there, you can rest before heading back out the way you came. Going up this little slope here, where you can then jump to the right of one of these things, and that will allow you to stand on this while moving down. You can look like southeast-ish, as you will see there's a platform down there. You can hop onto that platform and then sneak your way down if you want to take the stealthy route. Or, if you're like me, you can look east towards this wall thing. That way you can be facing the enemy as you allow the elevator to drop you down. The stealthy way is a bit easier, as it lets you get a charged heavy off. But either way, you can fight this enemy. And upon bringing them down, you can safely pick up the long-tail cat talisman. This stops fall damage If you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is the Silver Cat Ring from 2 and 3. Although it functions like it does in 3, not 2. There, you can also get a Smithing Stone 5, and jumping up those crystals, you can also pick up a Lost Ash of War here. From there, you can teleport back to the Schoolhouse Classroom Set of Grace. Once again, I'm going to wait until morning just to make things a bit brighter. From there, you can head through this doorway, where there will be this lazuli enemy. So kill them, and then you can safely head east through this doorway. Doing so, you can get the Conspectus Scroll. This allows you to purchase Glintstone Comet Shard, a stronger version of the sorcery we're currently using, and it can even be charged to do even more damage, along with Star Shower, which fires 6 homing projectiles. From there, you can break that illusory wall, get a Smithing Stone 4, and then jump down here for a little secret path. The main reason for this secret path is the Elivinus Glintstone Crown. This is a headpiece that increases your intelligence stat by 3 points, but lowers your maximum HP. From there, you can head back into this room with the Site of Grace, and then you can take a right to head down this main corridor. If you're a melee build, this next combat encounter is going to be a bit difficult, as there are 4 different mages, along with a 5th enemy that is hidden around the corner, as you can see there. You may want to lure the jar enemy back, just to fight them in a 1v1, without getting spell spammed. But upon getting through this combat encounter, you can safely get a ritual pot from this chest. Now, as I've said before, any random drops that are not guaranteed, I'm going to be ignoring for the sake of making this run as repeatable as possible, with as little luck, RNG, or grinding. But if an enemy drops something that isn't guaranteed, you should pick it up every time. As even if it's not useful to your build, you can still sell it for rune. But with that being said, you can head up these stairs and take out these 2 enemies. And at the top of these stairs, you'll see the boss Fog. But before that, there's one more illusory wall. So we can take that out. And in this chest, you get the Sorcery Comet. This is the strongest version of the spell we're currently using, but it requires 52 intelligence to wield. So we can also get a Stone Sword key here, and then we can head up this ladder. At the top, we can take a right, and then jump over this railing, and 2 drops down to make it into this room. where there are a bunch of these little jar enemies. Getting rid of all of them allows us to safely pick up the Graven School Talisman. A talisman that slightly raises the potency of sorceries. From there, we can open this door and head straight forward, back up the stairs. And that is the illusory wall we went through, and this is the boss. This boss has a lot of mobility and can hit pretty hard and has magic, but their maximum HP is pretty low. So, take them out, and you will get 14,000 runes in a memory stone. From there, grab the Side of Grace, rest, don't forget to level up, and from there, you can head straight north through this little hallway, and you can take a little U-turn to the right here, jumping over the railing, and that will get you access to this ladder. From there, jump through the window and continue sticking to the right side until you see a chest. This gets you the Radagon icon talisman, boosting how fast you can cast any kind of magic, so both sorceries and incantations. From there, jump over the railing to make it back into this room, and head through the north door again, this time going to the left. Heading up these stairs, you'll find a group of enemies with the mage being the main threat, as they have spell spam, so rush them down or kill them from range. And upon getting rid of all of these enemies, you can safely pick up a cracked pot. From there, you can head up these broken, just absolute tangled mess of stairs, where through this little doorway, protected by this enemy, you can get the Glintstone Wet Blade. This allows you to apply magic or frost to your weapon. With magic being mostly intelligence-based and giving you magic damage, and then frost being less intelligence-based but still a bit of intelligence scaling, along with some dexterity scaling, and allows you to apply a frost, the status condition. From there, you can head up here, drop over this railing, turn around, and you can open this small door here. From there, you can head out and stick to the left, where past a bunch of trees, you'll find this little crab enemy. Killing them gets you the Carlos Glintstone Crown, boosting your intelligence stat by 3 points to the detriment of stamina. Slightly better than the one that reduces your HP, in my personal opinion. But from there, we can grab this golden seed, and then you can teleport back to the debate parlor site of grace. This is mostly just to get health, FP, and flasks back, but it's also to get our bearings straight and make it easier to figure out where we're going. So the next destination is on top of this large fountain, getting us a stone sword key. And then we are going to head through the small door. From here, you can pick up a golden rune 3 and jump over the railing to continue on. And as I showed there, again, it was just me discarding any random chance drop that I pick up. Once again, absolutely no reason to do that. I'm just doing it in this specific run, so that way there's no RNG, or as little RNG as possible. From there, we can continue on. This is supposed to be a trap, because there are these 3 little enemies that will drop down onto you, and also a spellcaster. So I would suggest having either a ranged spell, or throwing knives, or a bow, or a crossbow. Just something to get these 3 enemies down before aggroing the spellcaster. There you get some crystal darts. They're useful for messing with imps and Erdtree burial watchdogs, as hitting them with enough can make them attack other enemies. But taking these drops down, you can look to the west and take this very perilous jump. And from here, you can look for these 2 enemies, and you can kill them and start heading that way. It's pretty easy to just crouch and then get a backstab on these enemies. Even if you don't one-shot them, you will throw them forward off of the building, and the gravity will take care of the rest. From there, there's a room with these 2 mannequin enemies, and a very long ladder. I cut 25 seconds out of that, by the way. So, yeah, it's a long ladder. From here, you can pick up a crossbow, and you can look west to jump over that railing, and doing that will allow you to get a smithing stone 4. And that's the main reason we did the perilous jump the first time, was just for that smithing stone 4. Here we can do the perilous jump again, along with a second, slightly less perilous jump. Where we can then head down this way, taking these drops into this tower, where we will find another little crab. Kill them for the Lazuli Glintstone Crown, which boosts not only your intelligence, but also your dexterity stat by 3 points each. Though, it does come at the cost of health. And as you can see, it takes away even more health than the Olivinous Glintstone Crown. So, all of these crowns boost some stats, mostly intelligence, but it does come at a cost. Which one you want to go with is up to your personal taste. But from there, we can get a Somber Stone 4, and then we can take this ladder up. Now, you can get to where the top of this ladder is by taking a few normal drops instead of the perilous jump. I didn't show the normal way, but the non-perilous jump way is safer. You just lose out on a few goodies. So whether that's worth it to you is up to you. There we can get 2 Smithing Stone 3 and an Imbued Sword Key, which can be used at the 4 Belfries. There are 2 more little things that you can open up, but they both just get you a little scenic view and a basic talisman, so not really notable in my opinion. But from there, we can take that jump and head into the rafters of this building. Dropping down onto this chandelier, you can get a second Academy Glintstone Key. And you may remember the NPC Thops was asking for an Academy Glintstone Key. Now you needed to get 1 in order to get into the Academy of Raya Lucaria, but you can't give that to him. You need the second one in order for him to make it in. But here, you can get the Twin Sage Glintstone Crown, boosting your intelligence stat by 6 points, but to the detriment of HP and stamina. Again, if you care about the Glintstone Crowns, every single one has some kind of negative effect. Which negative effect you want is up to you. But from here, we can get the Shattering Crystal Sorcery. And then we can head through this doorway to the east. And this enemy shoots 3 explosive bolts at a time. They can be very dangerous, but if you can manage to defeat them, you can safely pick up Azur's Glintstone Staff. This is a staff that makes you cast sorceries faster, but consumes additional FP in order to balance that out. Now from there, we can head back to the lake-facing cliffs to give that a second Glintstone Key to Thops. So we're going to make it here, run down to him, and he has a few talk options. The first one just tells you about the Academy of Raya Lucaria and how to get in. The second one, about Glintstone Key, is him asking you to give him a Glintstone Key. And from there, you can give it to him. Doing so will get you the Your Edition gesture. From there, we can head up to the Frenzied Flame Village outskirts side of Grace, and our goal is to head to that structure. Now, while that structure is in the open world of Liurnia, which we did last time, you need a Glintstone Crown and the Your Edition gesture in order to actually solve the puzzle. So we couldn't do that until making it through most of Raya Lucaria, which is why we're doing it now. But heading in, we make it to the converted Fringe Tower, and where this message is, throw on a Glintstone Crown, any will do, then use the Your Edition gesture. And when you throw your arms up, the seal on the rise will open, and from there you can take the glintstone crown off. And you can then head up the tower. An enemy will spawn. Just run past them. They have basically no ability to move whatsoever. So, not much they can do. Don't forget to pop your golden runes from time to time, as they can accumulate and get you a pretty penny. But here, we can get the Cannon of Haima along with the Gavel of Haima. Two different sorceries that both require 25 intelligence to use. The Cannon is like a long-ranged sniper shot that explodes. Personally, I think that Loretta's Great Bow is much better and more consistent, but Gavel of Haima, that's good. That's actually the reason I came here. But from there, we can head to the Schoolhouse Classroom Set of Grace, as this is where Thops will be. So, head west out of this door and stick to the right, where you will get Tops's Bell Bearing, the Academy Glintstone Staff, and Tops's Barrier. The Barrier and his Bell Bearing don't matter, but the Academy Glintstone Staff, once you get the intelligence to use it, it's pretty good. You can get it as a random chance drop from enemies that use it, but this is how you get it guaranteed. From there, we can head back to the Debate Parlor Side of Grace. And don't forget to level up if you can, as there is a major boss coming up. And if you're a spell user, you may want to lean more into red flasks, as you're going to want a melee weapon for this one. But from here, we can run straight forward, and our goal is to hop onto these horizontal pillars, as they will allow us to get onto this bridge. Jumping on the bridge spawns a giant ball, so jump back onto the pillar to avoid that. At the bottom of the bridge is a Smithing Stone 5, so you can grab that before hopping onto the pillar again, and then one final time to continue avoiding the giant ball. Now heading up, there's this body with an item. If you go slightly beyond the next, whatever you want to call that, a spike protrusion thing, you can stand next to that in order to safely avoid the ball. Now here is an NPC. They can parry you, so watch out for that. Most people tend to kill them with elevator shenanigans. It doesn't always work, it's not super consistent. Personally, I like to just run onto the elevator and then roll off, and then either they die or they go up. If they go up, I can just quit the game, and that will put them back in their default position, and I will be behind them. But at the top of the elevator will be a doorway leading to Renala. Phase 1 is a gimmick fight. There are lots of these little children. Look for the ones that have this yellow aura around them. You can also tell where they are because they're singing. And breaking that golden aura 3 times will send Renala down. You can wail on her. After a little bit, she starts glowing, and she will explode shortly after that. And you'll then have to redo the process. Now, I was going to show this entire boss fight because it's a major boss, and I would like to show the major bosses while skipping the like minor and medium bosses for the sake of time. But right as I killed her, my game crashed, so that was unfortunate. But as you can at least see here, with a plus 11 short sword with 8 strength and 12 dex, you can 2-cycle her. Now for phase 2, she gets far more difficult, and this is where you're really going to want a melee weapon. As she can spawn summons, and she can spell spam, and she has much better spells than the normal mages. And for the summons, you've got a few options. You got a troll, a dragon, a bloodhound knight, 4 wolves. So, yeah. Just in general, either run to the side or run towards her. All of her attacks are pretty easy to dodge. And once you successfully take her down, once she's done spamming her spells, she will die, give a little speech, and you'll be rewarded with Remembrance of the Full Moon Queen, Great Rune of the Unborn, and 40,000 runes. And then you will be sent back to the room that you walked into. Now, if you have a gold pickled foulfoot, you can pop that. She gives you plenty of time. But here, her Great Rune allows you to use a larval tier to respec, allowing you to rearrange all of the levels that you've put into your character from the beginning, so you can have a completely different build if you want. If you cancel, you get your larval tier back. And then you can pick up this side of grace in case you ever want to respec in the future, and also for a ring. Now, if you killed Godric the Grafted as well, both of them have a Great Rune, and once you have 2 Great Runes, it doesn't matter which 2 you get, but as long as you get 2, and Godric and Renala are the 2 earliest that you can get, the 2 that you're supposed to get, quote unquote, you can head over to Enya and talk to her. She'll tell you that you're ready, and she will grant you a talisman pouch. This allows you to have another talisman slot, so you can throw on whatever you have that best fits your current build. From there, you can also talk to Gideon, and he will tell you to head to the Altus Plateau, as that is one of the 2 major regions we can go to next. Though, that's not what we're going to be doing next time. Instead, we are going to be doing the beginning parts of Rani's quest, along with heading down into the first underground section of the game here. But that's for next time. For now, we can end it here, as we have done the Strewn Precipice, Caria Manor, and the Academy of Raya Lucaria, the 3 biggest dungeons in Liurnia, with Raya Lucaria being the main one. But I hope you found that to be educational. I hope you found it to be entertaining, and yeah,